Well, thank you for joining us on today's Estimator program. We have a special guest with us today, Richard Nichols, who is going to talk with us about preserving history, digital images. They're going to preserve various old pictures and digital images and some really important things really for our future. So please stay tuned.
Hey, new guy, Shovel, right?
Yeah, Rake, and I'm not exactly new. I've seen some action.
Yeah, what's your story?
Hey, my last gig, I nearly got electrocuted, almost drowned. That guy never called 811 to see if it was safe to dig.
Our guy calls every time he digs.
It's quick and easy. Any tool can do it. Calling 811 gets your underground utility lines marked for free. It makes every project safer for everyone.
Hey, safe digging is no accident. Always call 811 before you dig.
Well, Richard, thank you very much for joining me on today's Estimator program. I certainly appreciate it. How long have you and Norma lived here in Douglasville?
Well, actually, we lived here about exactly 10 years. And when we came to Douglasville, there was no mall, there was no Target store on Chapel Hill Road, and we moved to Forest Trail, which is right close to that area. And we've watched Douglasville suddenly grow up before our eyes. And sometime in about 2003, we realized that we had lived here a while and we didn't know anything about this place. We started walking down around the downtown area, taking pictures of the fountain and some of the old buildings. And sometime in 2004, we noticed that there was a magazine called the Chapel Hill News and Views that kept getting thrown in our driveway, and it had no photographs in it.
Right.
So I sent in a photograph to Tim Collins using the email address that I found in there, and it was a picture of the new courthouse, but I had taken it into Photoshop and done some image editing. And what I did was, it was coming up to July of 2004. I took the old courthouse, and the new courthouse, and I surrounded it in plastic and then put fireworks in the sky. And the fireworks were actually made from grass that was out, very long grass that was out in front of the courthouse. Tim Collins put it on the front cover of the Chapel Hill News and Views, and they used that image to sell, not subscriptions, but to sell advertising.
Sure. Richard, I know that you have a business here in Douglasville, and you and Norma together. And could you tell us a little bit about that business and some of the things that you do?
Oh, sure. Actually, we went into business in 1987, and it was a presentation business and a professional photography business. What happened here is we were working for a trade show company, and in the year 2002, I became pretty burned out doing that. And I left the trade show company and went back in my own business. And since then, we've joined the Chamber of Commerce. We have a number of clients right here in Douglasville. And we do two main things. We make websites, which are really, they're really information systems.
Sure.
They are not, here's who we are, here's our business card with a lot of flashy glitter. What they are is business tools. And one of our most recent clients, at least we hope they're going to be our client, is the Water and Sewer Authority here in Douglasville and Douglas County. We've also done websites for the healthcare industry, for Emory doctors, for weight loss clinics. We have websites that we've done for lawyers.
Sure.
And just, it's an endless road. But our other business is we're Microsoft partners, and we fix computers, we set up networks, we do routing, remote access. We basically can get up in the morning and fix networks from our home. So we've got networks with as many as 20 computers on it.
Sure.
And we just basically have a home-based operation that seems to work fine.
Well, not only are you, it sounds like you're very involved in your businesses, but I know you're very involved in the community. I know you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, Sweetwater Camera Club, and some other organizations. I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about your involvement with those organizations, and some that I probably didn't even mention.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to say the Chamber of Commerce here in Douglas County is just second to none. We've been to a number of meetings in other parts of Atlanta and the metro area. Kelly Boatwright and John Gray, all of those people that are running that chamber, they do such a monumental job with such a small group of people. But we got involved with them a couple of years ago. Actually, we were a member a whole year before we actually showed up at a meeting. And then we came to realize what a valuable group that is,
sure.
Especially for small businesses to keep your skills up in business. Norma and I joined the Sweetwater Camera Club probably at the end of 2004. When we first came there were a lot of people who had been there. I say a lot of people. There were probably 15 people who had been coming to this club for 15 years, and they all wanted to be National Geographic type photographers as far as we could tell. So we didn't really know whether we would fit in, because we both Norma and I have a background in graphic design and in professional photography, and we had already taken this to the next step. We took photographs as just the beginning and then turned them into illustrations and made them artwork, okay, works of art, hopefully. But that wasn't really what the Sweetwater Camera Club was going to allow us to do. As a result, we never entered any of their contests, which is kind of strange, because now I'm the president of this group. and what's really funny is now in the contest, the winners are all manipulating their photographs and turning them into illustrations.
Okay.
So they've caught up with us. We started a new club about a year ago called the Digital Image Group. The Digital Image Group is very much like the Sweetwater Camera Club in that it's people who have camera equipment and video equipment and computer graphics, better computers, so they can use Photoshop. But what sets this aside is we actually have people come and show their work. And they, just to give you an example, we had our 1-year anniversary last month. We had 30 people show up, and 17 different people got to show us their videos, their photos of everywhere, Jerusalem, all their travels, Antarctica, just there's a lot of different places these people go. So part of it could be thought of as a travel log, but the rest of it is it's an educational group, because people demonstrate how to use things. For example, we have people who have no better camera than this right here, just this little point and shoot camera. They come in and they go, you know, I bought this over at Best Buy or someplace around here, and I don't know anything about using it. So what we tell them is, it's okay to be a beginner, it's okay to be intermediate, it's okay to be professional. We have 4 or 5 professionals in there that do this all the time, every day. But where this is valuable is people come in, and what they're supposed to get out of this is how to make better imagery, how to make better videos, how to make better still photographs, and it doesn't matter where they start.
So if I want to join the Digital Image Group and I have a camera that I've just bought, then you'll start off at the very elementary level, describing and showing me how to use the camera and kind of the kind of pictures that I should take. Is that
right?
Is that correct?
The Digital Image Group is a very informal group. The Sweetwater Camera Club is more formal in that we have contests, we have field trips, we're very organized.
Sure.
The Digital Image Group, I won't say it's a free-for-all, but it's very laid back. There's no fee to join it. People just show up, they bring their equipment, they talk to each other for 3 hours out of every month, and we eventually hope to give courses in photography, in digital photography, and digital image making, in Photoshop, and we're headed towards having seminars in these areas. We just have to get some more money and some more backing.
Well, you know, I believe it's your group that submits the information for the public information guide on City TV. Now, I've seen some of the photos that they've taken, and I can tell you they are wonderful. And are these just the beginners, or are these people that have been in there for a while?
Believe it or not, some of those people have been in it they have been into photography less than a year. They come to either the Sweetwater Camera Club or the Digital Image Group, or both, with the attitude that this is my hobby, this is how I'm going to spend my spare time. And they look and see what everybody else is doing, and they realize very quickly that good photographs don't show you all kinds of things you don't want to see. Good photographs show you exactly what you should be seeing. And that's the hardest thing to get across to beginners, is we don't want to see the entire parking lot out in front of the building when you're only trying to show the doors of the building. You know, so focusing in and composing a photograph is not easy to teach, but people get it after they see enough and hear enough about it.
Sure. So if our audience sees these images, and they're scrolled on City TV frequently, and they want to be able to shoot the same kind of images, the same quality, the recommendation is they join this group.
Absolutely. And we intend to have new photos every week. Now, we haven't, so far we haven't been able to meet that goal, and it's my fault, but we have hundreds and hundreds of images that no one has seen publicly yet,
sure,
lined up, ready to put on this, put on City TV. I just need more help.
Well, you know, it's obvious that these folks travel a lot also, because I've seen some of those photographs and could identify where they are, and they're not all here in the United States. So obviously they're a group that travels, and so they're using their camera on the trip.
That's right. Now, you bring up an interesting point, because one of the issues we have in the Sweetwater Camera Club is that people think that they have to go somewhere, that they have to go out west to take a decent picture. But actually, as one of our speakers made it abundantly clear, if you're going to go out west to take nice pictures, you better be well practiced, and you need to practice here at home. So what we ask people to do is go on our field trips, and we have between 1 and 3 field trips a month. Almost every weekend we have some kind of activity, and it's usually right around here in Douglasville. Let's go to O'Neill Plaza here right at twilight and take twilight pictures. The Hydrangea Festival, the Taste for Douglasville Arts, all of the various activities that the county puts on, September Saturdays. We encourage our members to get out and photograph people, places, things, buildings, plants, anything, insects.
Sure. And
by the time they go on that trip, they're well practiced, and they come back with gorgeous images.
Well, Richard, I know there's an organization that you're very involved in, and one of the reasons I wanted you to come on and really talk to our audience about is your work that you're doing. Now, I know the acronym is HIPPP, and if you could tell our audience what that stands for and what you're doing with that organization, because I know we talked several weeks ago, and I believe it's a tremendous thing that you're doing, and I'd like for you to share it with our audience today, if you could.
Thank you. HIPPP stands for Historical Image Presentation, Preservation, and Publication. Now, we met last week and determined that we were going to drop one of the P's for some reason. I think Tim Collins of the Chapel Hill News and Views thought that we had gone a little too far with a third P. But the main thing is we are going to go around Douglasville and Douglas County and collect old images. We're going to go to people's homes and scan their images. So we're going to scan their images while we're there. If they'll let us take the images, we'll take them back somewhere else to one of the homes of the photographers and scan them. And we're very interested in the stories that go with these images. Now, let's backtrack here just a minute. What this is it's a desire on our part to preserve the history of Douglasville and Douglas County before it gets away from us. I went to a meeting of the Cultural Arts Center, Cultural Arts Council satellite group about 3 months ago, and the president of the Historical Society of Douglas County, who is named Ron Black, said that in the last year they've lost 3 of their members. They didn't have a very good way of getting new members.
Sure.
And he says he's the president of this group because he's the only person under the age of 75. Okay? So it occurred to me that since the Sweetwater Camera Club is a satellite group under the Cultural Arts Council, that we needed to work with them and preserve as much of this history as we can before it gets away from us. So what we're going to be doing is heading out all over Douglasville and Douglas County, and we're asking people to get in touch with us, to go to the sweetwatercc.org website, to call us, and all of the information is on there, to call us and let us know what you've got, what kind of stories you like to tell. Tim Collins has said the stories don't have to be accurate because we're going to say they're just stories. Some of them are going to be hearsay, but they make good stories. We want to know, what are these old buildings in these pictures? Who are those people that are in those pictures? How far back does this go? Does this go back before Douglas County was even called Douglas County? Are there pictures from back during and after the Civil War? I think I've heard that the county used to be called Cherokee. We want to know what the history is, and when we get this written down and we get the photographs scanned, what's going to happen is Tim Collins is going to publish between 20,000 and 30,000 copies of this magazine every 3 months. And they're going to be distributed through the schools. They're going to be distributed at the mall and various other places. And this is going to go way on into the future. This is not a one-time deal. It's going to be a slick magazine. It's going to be free and paid for by advertising.
Right.
And it's an idea whose time has come, and we have the talented people to help us pull this off.
So if we have folks that are watching our show today, and they have photographs that they would like for those photographs and their story behind those photographs to be included in these publications that are going to happen frequently into the future, they can contact, and you or someone in your organization is going to make an arrangement and an appointment to come to their home and scan their photographs so they'll never leave their possession.
That's right.
And to capture their story behind those photographs. Is that kind of in a nutshell what you're going to be doing?
That's right. And what the magazine is going to look like is it's going to be a scrapbook, a hodgepodge. It's not going to be in any particular order. There are going to be little stories and photographs to go with them. There may be 30 to 60 photographs per publication. We don't know yet. We haven't made it yet. We haven't come up with a name for the magazine yet. It might be the Hip Magazine. We don't know. There is a website that is going to be created so that people not only view the magazine, but they can go to the website and not only see the photographs, if they know something about the photograph, they can leave comments and add to the history.
Sure.
So this is major, major.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to that. I tell you, it's a way to capture Douglasville and Douglas County's history that, as you said earlier, is beginning to kind of get away from us, you know, as people pass on. So does that knowledge and history, of course, that they had about our community, and I think it's a tremendous benefit to capture that before really we have the photographs, we'll still have the photographs, but we won't know the history behind those photographs.
That's right. we encourage people who want to get involved in this project to come join us. You don't have to be a member of the Sweetwater Camera Club to join this group. Now, we have 2 historians who are part of this. Myra Wade, who has written a history of the Central Baptist Church here in Douglasville, and Lois Vulper, who majored in history in college and has stepped forward to help ensure that at least some of what we put in this publication is accurate. I had no idea from the very beginning that history around here was going to be so popular. We have 17 people right off the bat who wanted to get involved in this. There are probably 10 individuals out of the 17 who are the initial members of the HIP committee who have lived here all their lives. They know the territory, and they know the people. They've watched buildings being built. They've watched them being torn down. They know what's going on over in Winston and what happened back in 1935 in Winston, for example. Or we have some people who know all about Lithia Springs and the history of that area. So we basically, with the help of people like Kent Owings, for example, his dad was Ike Owings. I think he owned a hardware store for many years and was one of the movers and shakers around here. Sure. Kent has been real helpful in putting this together. At first, his attitude was, I can see why people who've lived here all their lives would be interested in the history of this area, but I can't see why anybody else would care. And he couldn't have been more wrong in that way, because as soon as we announced we were doing this, all kinds of people who haven't lived here all that long are thinking, yeah, I'd like to know about this community. So we want to capture the history before it gets away from us, and this is this is a pivotal time, because we're losing people literally 2 or 3 a year who know all about what happened here. So if we can get that now, it'll be preserved for good.
So those that have lived here for an awful long time and know a lot about the community, those are the folks that you're looking for right now to help you.
That's right. We also, you know, if you go through your attic and you find out that your mama and daddy and granddaddy have pictures and you know something about them, or you don't know about them but you'd like to know something about them, since we have historians in our group, they may be able to identify those pictures and tell you something about them. So we just want to encourage people who have images of old Douglasville and Douglas County to please come forward and be part of this effort. This is your chance.
Well, that's wonderful. We hope that those who are listening today will certainly get in touch with you, because I know there are a lot of those items out there. If there are other people who not only just want to contribute photographs, but want to get involved just assisting in this, what should they do?
Well, they should get in touch with me. They should go to the sweetwatercc.org website, where we'll have instructions for how to get in touch with us and the kinds of tasks that we need done. This is a volunteer situation, but it's one that when people come out the other end of this project, what they're going to find out is they know a lot about image editing. They know a lot about restoring broken, torn, faded images. They're going to know quite a lot about how to put a publication together. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of people.
Well, I certainly encourage anyone to get involved because this is so sorely needed in our community to preserve the history of our community.
Well, I really appreciate your giving me the opportunity to come and talk about this. Before we leave this subject, I'd also like to say the Sweetwater Camera Club, the Digital Image Group, these organizations are beginning to get together with a third organization that has just shown up on the scene, and it's called the Georgia Professional Videographers Association. It has been started right here in Douglasville. It meets once a month over at the Center, which is a Sam and Roscoe's organization. And people are coming from all over the Atlanta metro area and beyond. We've had people come from quite a distance to show up and learn more about videography. These are people who are into wedding videography and corporate videography, but there are also people who are just wanting to see if that's a good career for them.
Sure.
So we have these organizations that start people at the beginning and take them forward. They will eventually find out that some of our very best photographers and videographers have made a good living doing this for a long, long time.
Well, you and your organizations, and I must say organizations because you're involved in several, are certainly providing a true benefit to our community. And you don't get paid for it. That's pretty unusual to find folks today that are willing to commit the kind of resources, time and effort that you're committing to preserving history. You just don't find that very often. I congratulate you for the work that you're doing. And I certainly want to thank you for joining me on today's Ask the Mayor program. And I look forward to working with you in the future as you continue these projects. Please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Well, this is nice.
So, what do you want to talk to me about, Mom?
Oh, at school, do they, have any of your friends ever taken drugs, sweetie?
I don't think so.
Does anyone ever talk about drugs at school?
Talking to your kids about drugs can be tough, so you'll need to be ready. For help, visit our website at drugfree.org.
Well, thank you for being with us today. Wasn't that great information that we received today about how we can assist in preserving our history? And I certainly want to thank Richard for joining us today because they're doing some very, very important work, really, for our future. And thank you for joining us on today's Ask the Mayor.